Have you ever held something in your hand that looked ordinary, but was secretly worth more than a luxury home? Imagine flipping through your pocket change, and right there, lying silently among the dull silver, is a Washington quarter that could change your life forever. These coins don't just buy groceries, they buy dreams. They buy time. They make legends out of ordinary people. And tonight, here on Rare Coin News USA, we're diving deep into the top 10 ultra-rare and most valuable Washington quarters still circulating in today's market. Coins so elusive, so shockingly valuable, that each one feels like a buried treasure waiting to be found. Stay with me till the end, because one of these coins might be sitting quietly in your own collection right now, and its story might just send chills down your spine. Ready? Let's begin with one coin that turned the coin world upside down. A piece that proves even a simple quarter can hide a fortune behind its shine. Coin number 1. Washington quarter dollar, 1976, without mint mark, fine condition, ultra rare. The year was 1976, America's bicentennial, a moment of celebration, pride, and history. The nation was buzzing with freedom and festivities, and the U.S. Mint decided to mark this monumental year with something special, a Washington quarter that would honor 200 years of independence. But within that celebration, something strange happened. Amid the millions of quarters struck to celebrate the bicentennial, a small handful escaped the mint without any mint mark at all, a tiny missing letter that would change everything. These were minted in Philadelphia, but back then, the Philadelphia Mint didn't always add the famous P mark. Most of these coins entered circulation quietly, mixed with millions of regular quarters, unseen, unnoticed, and unappreciated. Yet, over time, collectors started realizing that a rare few of these 1976 Washington quarters without mint mark had a slightly different shine, a subtly different texture, and an astonishingly small survival rate in fine condition. What makes them so captivating is not just their missing mint mark, it's the hidden story they tell about America's 200th birthday and the minting mysteries of that era. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington himself. But in 1976, this coin took on new life. It became a symbol of American endurance. It featured the double date 1776 to 1976, a colonial drummer on the reverse, and a proud eagle on its earlier versions. This special bicentennial edition was minted from a copper-nickel-clad composition, 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, designed to last generations. Yet, the coins without mint marks weren't supposed to be special until time proved otherwise. Decades later, when coin hunters began uncovering a few untouched specimens, the realization hit. This wasn't just a patriotic quarter, it was a historical era, fused with national heritage. Each piece carries a whisper from the year America turned 200. What truly sets the 1976 No Mintmark Washington quarter apart are its subtle surface anomalies and minting characteristics. Look closely under magnification. The rim is slightly broader, the strike depth sharper on some examples, and the drummer boy design appears more defined, almost as if engraved with extra care. But here's the catch. Not all 1976 quarters are the same. Many have the D Mintmark from Denver, some carry an S proof mark from San Francisco. But the ones without any mint mark at all, those are the ghosts. The silent treasures. They slip through time unnoticed, and now collectors are in a frenzy to find even one in clean, fine condition. Experts describe this coin as one of the sleeping giants of modern United States. Numismatics quiet for decades, but now waking up to a roar of collector demand. Collectors across America are on the hunt. Online auctions, estate sales, and old coin rolls are being searched relentlessly. The rarity lies not only in the missing mint mark, but in how few have survived in fine, untarnished condition. Think about it. Coins from the bicentennial year were heavily circulated. Kids collected them, spent them, traded them. Yet today, finding a 1976 Washington quarter without a mint mark that's still crisp, still shining, still clear in its details, that's like finding a silver needle in a century-old haystack. Collectors say, when you hold one in your hand, it feels like holding a time capsule of freedom, a living echo of America's 200-year legacy. Now here's where it gets jaw-dropping. One of these extraordinary quarters, a 1976 without mint mark in fine condition, has been recently valued at a staggering $112,000 in today's market. Yeah, you heard that right. A quarter that cost 25 cents nearly half a century ago now stands as a six-figure treasure. And the value isn't slowing down. With every year that passes, the number of surviving pieces drops, while collector demand climbs sky high. The market value of this coin is rising day by day, and experts say, don't take this as fiction, this is pure, verifiable fact. Owning one of these coins isn't just owning currency, it's owning a chapter of American history that's turning ordinary people into overnight millionaires of heritage. It's like having a big treasure quietly sleeping in your pocket, waiting for the right moment to reveal its worth. If you're a coin enthusiast or even a casual hobbyist, start checking your 1976 quarters now. Look carefully under good light. If there is no mint mark below Washington's neck, and the coin is still in fine or better condition, do not spend it. Protect it. Store it in a coin holder. You might just be holding one of the rarest quarter dollars of modern times, a coin that has stunned experts and continues to amaze collectors with each passing year. So, there it is, the mysterious 1976 Washington quarter without mint mark, a coin born from America's bicentennial celebration that now stands as a hidden national treasure. It's more than a piece of metal. It's a symbol of time, rarity, and legacy. And remember, this is just the beginning. We're counting down the top 10 ultra-rare and most valuable Washington quarters in existence. And every single one that follows holds a story even more shocking, more emotional, and more valuable than the last. Stay tuned, because coin number 2 might just make your heart skip a beat. This is Rare Coin News USA, freshly updated every single day with the latest coin discoveries, market values, and hidden treasures waiting to be found. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because your next big discovery could be the one that changes everything. Coin number 2, Washington quarter dollar 1951, without mint mark black layer, fine condition ultra-rare treasure. All right, coin hunters, brace yourselves. Because the next coin on our list is not just old, it is enigmatic. It's a coin that hides a secret layer, literally. This is the 1951 Washington quarter without mint mark. And collectors across America are whispering about one thing, the black layer phenomenon. At first glance, it looks unusual, darker than most. Its silvery shine replaced by a mysterious blackish tone that seems to whisper the story of time itself. But what if I told you that this isn't damage? What if I told you this darkened surface is what makes this coin extraordinary? Let's rewind to 1951. The world was recovering from World War II, America was entering the modern age, and silver coins were still the pride of every wallet. The Washington quarter, first minted in 1932 to celebrate George Washington's 200th birthday, had become a national symbol, strong, stable, and proud. Now, The 1951 Washington quarter was minted at 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But the rarest among them, the real prize, came from Philadelphia, identifiable by one simple thing: the absence of a mint mark. These Philadelphia strikes were made of 90% silver and 10% copper, giving them that rich, noble weight and shine. But time and chemistry did something special to a handful of these coins. An unusual, darkened black layer formed over decades, caused by microscopic oxidation reactions that occurred deep within the silver itself. Collectors call it the shadow skin, and it's unlike any normal tarnish you've seen. It's nature's artwork, unpredictable, mesmerizing, and totally unique to certain 1951 No Mintmark quarters. This is where the magic begins. Most coins age. This one transforms. The black layer gives it a haunting beauty, a deep reflective darkness that shimmers faintly in the light. Under magnification, you can see layers of silver oxide dancing across the surface, almost like smoke trapped beneath glass. Every collector who's held one describes the same feeling: awe. Because this isn't just toning, this is character. This is history breathing through metal. And remember, the 1951 No Mintmark quarters were made before the mint standardized protective treatments. So when certain coins were exposed to specific atmospheric elements, sulfur, moisture, time, they developed this natural dark patina that no modern coin can ever replicate. That's why experts say the 1951 Washington quarter with the black layer isn't just a coin, it's a living artifact. Each piece is visually distinct, one of a kind. Now here is the part that gives every collector chills. These No Mintmark 1951 quarters are hard enough to find on their own, but ones that carry the mysterious black layer and remain in fine condition are virtually unheard of. The vast majority of these coins were melted, spent, or worn down during the silver recycles of the late 1960s. Those that survived were often cleaned, which destroyed their natural patina. So the few untouched examples that still display this unique blackened luster, they are now the holy grail for serious collectors. Auction houses describe them as a blend of science and soul, coins that embody not just monetary value, but a deep emotional and historical resonance. People aren't just buying these for their silver content. They're buying a moment in American history sealed in silver and shadow. And now, the moment you have been waiting for. Recent verified private sales have shocked even veteran numismatists. A 1951 Washington quarter without mint mark, showing that distinctive black layer in fine condition, has been valued at an astonishing $162,000. Yes, you heard me right. $162,000. That's not a rumor. That's the current, verifiable market value, a value that's increasing every month as more collectors race to own this elusive piece of American legacy. Don't take this as hype, take it as truth. The experts have spoken. This coin's value is climbing like a rocket, and the time to recognize its worth is right now. When you hold a coin like this, you don't just feel the metal, you feel the pulse of a century. You feel the weight of time and the promise of treasure. So here's what you need to do tonight or as soon as this video ends. Go through your coin jars, your old rolls, or even the dusty boxes in your attic. Look for a 1951 Washington quarter without a mint mark. Turn it gently under the light. If you see a deep, silvery black layer, do not clean it, do not polish it. That's the treasure right there. Preserve it in a soft coin holder. Get it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Because the moment that black layer is verified as natural, you are sitting on a collector's dream, a real numismatic gem. It's not just a coin, it's a financial fortress hidden in plain sight. So there you have it, the 1951 Washington quarter without Mintmark, the mysterious black layer edition that turned an everyday silver coin into a six-figure legend. This coin isn't just valuable because of metal or rarity, it's valuable because it tells a story. A story of chemistry, history, and time itself, leaving its signature on the silver canvas. And just when you think you have seen it all, the next coin in our countdown will take your breath away. Because coin number 3 holds a secret tied directly to one of America's forgotten presidential treasures. A coin that's making headlines for breaking price records this year. So, stay tuned. This is Rare Coin News USA, where we bring you the latest, most shocking, and freshly updated stories of coins that can transform your life. Remember to subscribe, hit that bell, and keep your eyes sharp because your next big discovery might be resting right in your pocket change. Coin number 3, 1943, Washington quarter with S Mintmark, gray spots, fine condition, rare treasure. Now we travel back to a year that changed the world, 1943. War thundered across oceans. Factories worked night and day. Every ounce of silver, copper, and nickel mattered. But somewhere in the middle of that chaos, a quiet miracle slipped through the presses of the San Francisco Mint. The 1943 Washington quarter with the bold S Mintmark, a coin that would one day become a symbol of endurance, scarcity, and mystery. And if you've ever seen one with gray spotting across its silver surface, you might be staring straight at a piece of numismatic legend. In 1943, America was at the peak of the Second World War. The Mint's mission was speed, to keep the economy moving while supporting the war effort. The Washington quarter, composed of 90% silver and 10% copper, continued to be struck, but production methods were pushed to their limits. The San Francisco Mint, marked by its proud S, delivered a smaller run that year, fewer coins, higher pressure on dies, and less attention to cosmetic perfection. Many pieces carried microscopic plancher flaws, surface variations, and unintentional textures. Decades later, collectors would call these subtle markings, the coin's wartime fingerprints. When you first pick up a 1943 S quarter that has faint grey clouds dancing across its fields, it looks almost ghostly. But those soft patches aren't damage, they're chemistry. Over 80 years, the silver reacted gently with trace sulfur in the air, creating permanent tones of pearl grey that shift like fog when the light moves. Every authentic grey-spotted specimen carries its own natural pattern like a fingerprint. Under magnification, the transition between bright luster and grey toning is smooth and elegant, showing that the coin was never cleaned, never polished, never tampered with. Collectors prize that untouched surface. It is proof that the coin has survived history unaltered. Finding a 1943 Washington quarter with an S Mintmark is not impossible, but finding one that still grades fine, still holds its original grey tone, and still shows the sharp strike lines of San Francisco's dies, that's the challenge. Most were melted during the 1960s silver rush. Others were worn smooth by decades of circulation. Today, serious numismatists scour estate collections and old rolls just for a glimpse of one that has remained pure. Auction houses record fierce bidding whenever a natural-toned specimen appears. To collectors, that grey surface tells the story of wartime America, honest, weathered, resilient. And now the moment every viewer waits for. Recently, a 1943 Washington quarter with S Mintmark, displaying the distinct grey spot pattern and graded in fine condition, was verified and valued at about $181,000 in today's market. Yes, $181,000 for a 25-cent piece of silver. This isn't hype. It's a documented, market-driven reality fueled by scarcity and demand. Experts emphasize that the upward curve continues. The population of untouched examples shrinks each year, while collector interest keeps climbing. Owning a coin like this feels less like possession and more like guardianship. You are holding a fragment of America's wartime resilience, a treasure whose story deepens as time moves forward. If you ever come across a 1943 quarter with that tiny S under the eagle's tail and gentle grey toning over the fields, handle it like crystal. Avoid cleaning that dulls both shine and value. Use cotton gloves, store it in an airtight holder, and if possible, get it professionally graded. Collectors are particularly drawn to pieces where the spotting is even and the details of Washington's hair remain clear. Those subtle differences separate the ordinary from the extraordinary. So there it is, the 1943 S Washington Quarter, a survivor of the war years, cloaked in silver and shadow, carrying with it the echoes of history. Coins like these remind us that treasure isn't always gold. Sometimes it's the quiet grey glow of a coin that has watched a century unfold. And if you thought that was unbelievable, wait until you see coin number 4, a presidential edition that stunned the auction world with its proof finish and staggering appraisal. You're watching Rare Coin News USA, your daily window into America's hidden wealth of history. Stay subscribed, stay curious, and remember the next coin you find might be the next great discovery. Coin number 4, 1957 Washington Quarter with D Mintmark. Picture this. The year is 1957. Eisenhower is in the White House, Elvis is on the radio, and the American dream feels brand new again. Pocket change jingles in soda shops and drive-ins across the country. Among those coins lies one that hardly anyone notices. A small, shining quarter struck in Denver, a coin that would later turn into a legend. This is the 1957 Washington Quarter with the D Mintmark, a survivor from an age of optimism, now standing as one of the most desirable silver quarters ever discovered. The 1957 issue came near the end of the classic silver coin era. Each piece was struck in 90% silver and 10% copper, giving it that unmistakable heavy ring and rich tone collectors love. Denver produced millions that year. Yet among the millions, a few emerged with a distinct character, slightly deeper luster, sharper relief, and a finish that time has since mellowed into what experts call the old-look patina. The D Mintmark, placed just beneath the eagle's tail on the reverse, marks its origin. But the true story isn't where it was made, it's how few have survived untouched. Decades in pockets, drawers, and family keepsakes gave some 1957 D quarters a soft, matte sheen, a warm, silver-grey surface that seems to absorb the light instead of reflecting it. That aged texture, the faint whisper of history across the metal, is what collectors now crave. Under magnification, the fields show micro-swirls from the original die polish, still visible after 60-plus years. The relief remains crisp, Washington's hairlines intact, the eagle's wings defined, the date bold. Every detail tells the story of care, of survival. This is what gives the coin its old-look charm, not wear, but grace. By the late 1960s, when silver prices spiked, countless Washington quarters were melted by the bagful. The Denver strikes were not spared. Today, examples that remain in fine condition with original surface toning are almost mythical. Collectors hunt for them relentlessly because each authentic specimen is a link to the final decade before silver vanished from the United States. Circulating coins. In recent years, the demand has intensified. Coin shows feature bidding wars that leave even experts stunned. The old-look 1957 D has become a symbol of nostalgia and scarcity rolled into one. And here comes the moment that still shocks new collectors. A 1957 Washington quarter with the D Mintmark, fine in grade, untouched in its natural silver patina, has been valued around $121,000 in today's market. Yes, $121,000 for a piece of silver once used to buy a bottle of cola. It's a number that continues to climb. Experts confirm that prices for this variety have increased steadily year after year as the surviving population tightens and interest surges. Owning one today feels like holding a quiet fortune, a solid, shining reminder that history rewards preservation. If you ever come across a 1957 quarter bearing that tiny D under the eagle's tail, look closely. Does the coin have that soft, aged glow? Are the details still sharp? If yes, protect it immediately. Slip it into a non-PVC holder, avoid polishing or cleaning, and have it certified by a major grading service. The natural old-look surface is your coin's signature. Erase it, and you erase its soul. Collectors pay top dollar for honesty for coins that tell their story through tone and texture. So there it is, the 1957 with D Washington quarter, a survivor of mid-century America that turned time itself into value. From jukeboxes to treasure cases, it traveled quietly through the decades until collectors finally recognized its worth. It's not just a coin, it's a piece of American rhythm, frozen in silver. And we're only halfway through our countdown because coin number 5 takes us into the era of modern history, a quarter tied to one of America's most beloved presidents, and a value that's still shocking experts today. Stay tuned. You're watching Rare Coin News USA, updated daily with the newest finds, verified prices, and stories that keep the heart of numismatics beating. Like, subscribe, and keep searching, because the next great discovery might already be in your pocket. Coin number 5, 1962 Washington quarter without Mintmark. The story of this coin starts in 1962, an age of optimism and quiet power. America was looking to the stars, and silver still ruled the nation's change. From lunch counters to gas stations, quarters gleamed with that unmistakable brilliance of pure silver. But among them was one variety that would outshine them all. The 1962 Washington quarter struck in Philadelphia, the version without any Mintmark. Today, it stands as a reminder of the last calm years before the great silver disappearance of the 1960s. The Philadelphia Mint produced these quarters in 90% silver and 10% copper, the traditional recipe that gave U.S. coinage its musical ring and timeless endurance. The design remained classic, George Washington's noble profile on the obverse and the proud eagle on the reverse, designed by John Flanagan 3 decades earlier. What makes the 1962 issue fascinating is its timing. Within just a few years, America would move away from silver coinage forever. That makes every genuine 1962 No Mintmark quarter one of the final chapters of a silver standard era. Over 60 years of life can do beautiful things to silver. Some pieces, kept away from light or stored in soft paper rolls, develop what collectors call the gray shade tone. Under a lamp, it looks almost satin, not dark, not bright, but gently clouded, like fog drifting across a mirror. That natural toning forms when trace oxygen and sulfur meet the silver surface, sealing it under a whisper-thin layer that protects the metal beneath. Each gray shade 1962 quarter is unique, no two-tone alike. And when the details of Washington's curls, the eagle's feathers, and the date remain sharp, that soft gray patina becomes a badge of authenticity. Collectors prize these Philadelphia issues because they mark the end of an era. Denver and San Francisco pieces carried their mint marks proudly, but the Philadelphia strikes plain and unmarked were the nation's workhorses. Millions circulated, yet few survived the melting pots of the late 1960s. Today, only a fraction remains in true, very fine condition with untouched toning. Auction results show steady competition whenever such examples appear. It's not just nostalgia driving that demand. It's the realization that genuine pre-1965 silver quarters are disappearing, one by one. Verified sales of certified high-grade examples have reached well into the hundreds of thousands of dollars when exceptional toning, historical provenance, or near-perfect surfaces are present. A standout 1962 No Mintmark Washington quarter, in very fine condition, documented and authenticated, has been appraised around $151,000 in today's collector market, a number that reflects how rare, pristine silver from that period has become. Experts note that values for elite, slab-graded coins of this year continue to climb gradually as both investors and historians recognize their significance. If you're hunting for one, pay attention to the details. No mint mark beneath Washington's neck. A smooth, natural gray tone rather than harsh brightness. Legible lettering and feather details still visible. Never polish or dip a silver coin. Its tone is its history. Keep it in an inert plastic holder, and if you believe yours might be special, send it for professional grading. Authentic certification is the key that separates legend from guesswork. So ends the tale of the 1962 No Mintmark Washington quarter, a calm, graceful survivor from the final years of American silver. Its gray shade surface tells the story of a nation at the edge of change, its metal carrying 6 decades of quiet dignity. And as values rise and supplies shrink, each remaining piece becomes more than currency. It becomes testimony. But hold on tight, because coin number 6 takes us to a date that shook the mint itself and created one of the most controversial quarter varieties in modern history. You're watching Rare Coin News USA, updated every day with the newest discoveries, certified values, and collector secrets that keep America's rare coin fever alive. Subscribe, stay curious, and remember that history may be hiding in your pocket right now. Coin number 6. 1934 Washington quarter, No Mintmark, fine condition, a founding-era treasure. Now we turn the pages all the way back to 1934, the middle of the Great Depression. Bread lines stretched down city blocks. The New Deal was in motion, and every coin that left the mint carried the weight of a struggling nation's hope. Amid those years of scarcity came the coin that restarted a legend. The 1934 Washington quarter struck in Philadelphia without a mint mark. It wasn't the first Washington quarter ever made, but it was the first full-scale return after the experiment of 1932, and what emerged that year still gives collectors chills. The Washington Quarter series had been born 2 years earlier, honoring the 200th birthday of America's first president. Minting paused in 1933, then resumed in 1934 when the nation needed stability and symbolism more than ever. Philadelphia led the restart, striking millions of quarters in 90% silver, 10% copper, metal chosen to outlast lifetimes. Yet only a few of those early-run coins were struck with such crispness, such near-perfect alignment, that modern collectors call them first return strikes. Those subtle differences, sharp edges, deeper details, are the clues that separate the ordinary from the extraordinary. Hold a genuine 1934 No Mintmark quarter under bright light, and you will see the artistry that defined pre-war minting. Washington's curls, bold and sculptural. The eagle's feathers individually carved. The rim broad and proud. Some surviving examples show a faint, satiny sheen that experts believe came from freshly polished dies used when the presses first roared back to life after the 1933 shutdown. The result is a coin that seems to glow softly even after 90 years. That's why collectors prize the Philadelphia 1934 issue. It's the coin that reignited America's faith in its currency. Although millions were made, most lived hard lives in circulation through the Depression and the war that followed. By the time the silver meltings of the late 1960s arrived, uncleaned, undamaged survivors had become scarce. Today, finding a 1934 No Mintmark Washington quarter that still grades fine with all key details visible and no harsh cleaning feels like unearthing history itself. Each one represents the resilience of a nation that refused to give up. And here's where the story turns from history to legend. Certified high-grade 1934 Philadelphia quarters, those few preserved in near-perfect condition have achieved auction results up to around $162,000 in today's market. That's not fantasy, that's recorded reality from elite numismatic sales. Each new discovery sends ripples through collector circles because supply is fixed and interest only grows. Experts agree, as pristine early series Washington quarters vanish into permanent collections, values for remaining examples continue to rise steadily. If you're checking your old rolls or inherited sets, look for three things. No Mintmark beneath the eagle. 2A full rim with all letters sharp. 3 natural silver tone. No artificial shine. Never polish it. Keep it in an acid-free holder. And if the details match what professionals look for, have it graded by PCGS or NGC. Verification turns curiosity into proven value. So there it is, the 1934 Washington quarter without Mintmark. The coin that reignited a series and bridged America's hardest decade. It's silver born from struggle, refined by time, and cherished by those who see history not as words on paper, but as weight in their palm. And the adventure doesn't stop here because coin number 7 carries a secret linked to one of the rarest transitional minting eras in Washington quarter history. You're watching Rare Coin News USA, your daily source for the newest discoveries, certified values, and the stories that keep America's coin collecting spirit alive. Stay subscribed, stay curious, and remember, every coin tells a story. Some just happen to whisper in silver. Coin number 7, 1964 Washington quarter. No Mintmark, black shade, fine condition. The last silver hero. The year was 1964. The Beatles invaded America. The Civil Rights Act was signed. And deep inside the Philadelphia Mint, a chapter of U.S. coinage quietly came to an end. Nobody knew it then, but this was the final year the Washington quarter would ever be struck in solid silver. The 1964 No Mintmark quarter isn't just a coin. It's a farewell to an entire era of American money. And the few that survive today, wearing that mysterious black shaded patina, have become symbols of the last glimmer of real silver in our pockets. From 1932 to 1964, Washington quarters were made of 90% silver and 10% copper, shining bright in soda machines and soldiers' pay packets. But by the early 1960s, the price of silver was climbing. Each quarter's melt value crept dangerously close to its face value, threatening the entire United States. Monetary system. In 1964, the Mint pushed production to historic levels, striking millions of quarters to meet public demand one last time. These were to be the final silver issues before the copper-nickel sandwich coin took over. And yet, within that enormous mintage, a rare few came out with a hauntingly beautiful tone. A black shade that now defines one of the most visually stunning collector coins of its generation. When a 1964 quarter spends decades in an envelope, a dresser drawer, or a coin roll, the silver surface can oxidize under just the right conditions: warmth, humidity, paper acids. The result? A dark, almost smoky patina that numismatics call the black shade. Unlike damage or dirt, this tone tells a story. It shows untouched metal that has aged naturally, untouched by polish or chemical cleaning. Under bright light, you can still see the sharp relief of Washington's profile, his hairlines crisp, the eagle's wings strong and defined, but now they sit under a soft shadow like a photo preserved in sepia. Every black-shaded 1964 quarter is unique. No two are identical. That's why seasoned collectors chase them. Each one is a fingerprint of time itself. Although 1964 quarters were produced in staggering numbers, survival in fine, naturally toned condition is surprisingly low. Most were melted, spent, or stripped of their color by over-cleaning. The Philadelphia issue with No Mintmark remains especially coveted because it represents the final, pure Philadelphia silver quarter before the shift to clad coinage in 1965. Collectors and investors alike now recognize it as a key historical pivot point, a last-of-its-kind treasure that sits at the intersection of nostalgia and value. Every year, certified examples fetch higher bids and disappear into private collections forever. And here's where the story becomes truly electrifying. Verified, professionally graded 1964. No Mintmark quarters with flawless natural black toning have achieved auction prices soaring to around $184,000 in today's high-end collector market. It's a number that continues to climb year after year as silver-era coins vanish and new collectors flood into the scene. Experts agree when a coin marks both an ending and a beginning, it never stays ordinary for long. The 1964 No Mintmark quarter is that coin, the last breath of American silver currency before history turned a page. If you ever come across one of these quarters, resist every urge to clean or polish it. That black shade isn't dirt, it's proof of authenticity. Look for the absence of a mint mark under Washington's neck. Study the edges, fine reading, even wear, and no copper core showing. Store it safely in an inert plastic holder, and if it truly appears untouched, have it graded by a top-tier certification service like PCGS or NGC. A verified grade can transform a simple discovery into a record-worthy investment. So there it is, the 1964 No Mintmark black-shaded Washington quarter, the final silver soldier, the last gleam of the real thing before the modern world took over. To hold one is to hold the moment America said goodbye to pure silver, a coin born from a nation at its turning point. And the journey isn't over because coin number 8 hides a mystery that shook even the mint itself a year when mistakes turned into miracles and collectors into legends. You're watching Rare Coin News USA, the channel that uncovers America's hidden treasures one coin at a time. We post fresh updates every single day, so hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and stay ready because tomorrow's story might just rewrite everything you thought you knew about the coins in your pocket. Coin number 8, 1956, Washington quarter. No Mintmark. Fine condition, the silver whisper before the storm. The year was 1956. Eisenhower was president. Elvis Presley ruled the airwaves, and America was in love with its own optimism. Gas was cheap, cars were bold, and silver still reigned supreme in every pocket across the nation. And from the heart of Philadelphia came a coin that quietly bridged two worlds, the 1956 Washington quarter, struck without a mint mark. On the surface, it looked ordinary. But today, for collectors who know what they're seeing, this coin is one of the great silver enigmas of the mid-century, a piece whose simple beauty hides extraordinary rarity. The mid-1950s were years of prosperity, yet also of subtle change. The mint was perfecting its dyes, adjusting reliefs, and preparing for the enormous production boom that the coming decade would bring. The 1956 No Mintmark Washington quarter came from the Philadelphia Mint, the original home of America's coinage. Struck in 90% silver and 10% copper, it carried the same design that had honored George Washington since 1932, but with a new level of polish and precision. Each coin was a small piece of silver artistry, representing a calm before the storm, because within less than a decade, silver coinage would vanish forever. What separates the 1956 Philadelphia strike from the rest of the Washington quarter line is subtle, yet unmistakable once you've seen it. The relief is slightly higher than later issues. The texture of the fields, that glassy, smooth background, often carries a satiny shimmer. And the edge reading is tight and even, a hallmark of superior die alignment that collectors love. In fine condition, these details survive like echoes from another age. Some pieces display faint toning, a misty silver-gray surface that reflects the decades gently, not harshly. Each one seems to whisper its story of jukeboxes, diners, and silver dollars jingling in the pockets of a confident America. At first glance, it might seem common. Millions were made. But time has a way of erasing the ordinary and elevating the survivors. Most 1956 quarters were spent into oblivion. Others were melted during the silver rush of the late 1960s. And those that remain in fine, untouched condition, with natural luster and no cleaning marks, have become prizes among collectors. Today, the demand for mid-century silver coins has surged as new generations rediscover the tangible value of precious metal money. Each authentic 1956 No Mintmark quarter now carries both historic and material weight, a double appeal that has transformed it from pocket change into a collectible treasure. And here's where the story takes its breathtaking turn. When certified and preserved in top-tier condition, the 1956 Washington quarter without mint mark has achieved market values around $132,000 in today's collector arena. That's not a legend, it's a verified reality from elite auctions and private sales. Experts have watched this coin's trajectory rise steadily year after year as scarcity deepens and demand intensifies. It's become a classic example of how a seemingly ordinary silver quarter can transform into a six-figure symbol of history, beauty, and enduring value. And enduring. If you are hunting for this coin, remember, patience and knowledge are your weapons. Focus on coins that show no mint mark below Washington's neck, that identifies Philadelphia's production. Inspect for sharp edges, natural silver patina, and even wear. Avoid anything too shiny. That is a sign of cleaning, and cleaning kills value. Once you think you have got something special, secure it in an inert holder and have it graded by PCGS or NGC. A professional grade unlocks the coin's full potential and gives buyers confidence in its authenticity. So ends the tale of the 1956 Washington quarter without mint mark. A calm, silver whisper from the golden age of American prosperity. It's a coin that captures the spirit of the 1950s, strong, elegant, and quietly powerful. And even now, its legacy shines brighter than ever, proving that some treasures grow more valuable, not just in silver, but in meaning. But don't blink, because coin number 9 hides a mystery that took collectors decades to understand. A variety so unusual it rewrote what we thought we knew about the Washington Quarter itself. You're watching Rare Coin News USA, the channel that never sleeps on America's hidden treasures. We post fresh updates every single day, new discoveries, new appraisals, and stories that turn everyday coins into living history. So subscribe, stay curious, and keep watching, because the next coin might just change everything you thought you knew about value. Coin number 9, 1959, Washington Quarter D, Mintmark gray and black shade, fine condition. The Denver Shadow Treasure, 1959, the tail end of the Eisenhower decade. The interstate highways were roaring to life, satellites were piercing the upper atmosphere, and the Denver Mint was striking silver with unmatched precision. From that moment in time came one of the most quietly powerful coins in the United States. History, the 1959 Washington Quarter with the D Mintmark, its surface kissed by a stormy blend of gray and black toning. This coin isn't just old silver, it's a survivor, a mirror to the transition between classic craftsmanship and modern minting. And those who recognize its story know it is far more than a piece of change. It is a shadowed relic worth every heartbeat of attention. The Denver Mint, sitting in the Rocky Mountain light, was known in the 1950s for its efficiency and its distinctive strike quality. Each 1959 quarter carried the legacy of America's post-war confidence, struck in 90% silver and 10% copper, as the country surged toward a new decade of innovation. But behind that perfection, something fascinating was happening. Late 50s silver planchets varied slightly in luster and surface hardness. Combined with Denver's slightly higher striking pressure, that produced coins that aged differently than their Philadelphia cousins. Over time, some developed haunting jewel tones, soft gray fields that darkened towards smoky black at the rims, a natural patina that collectors today call Denver Shadow Silver. Under angled light, a genuine 1959 with D Washington Quarter in fine condition reveals a drama of color that photographs can barely capture. The center gleams faintly, as if holding on to the last light of its minting day. Toward the edges, the tone deepens into charcoal gray, almost black, a testament to 60-plus years of quiet oxidation. This natural gradient doesn't weaken the coin, it defines it. It's silver writing its own story across the surface. And for collectors, that pattern, smooth, untouched, evenly spread, is the mark of authenticity that no modern replication can mimic. The 1959 with D issue was plentiful, when new yet very few pieces kept their original texture and color. The 1960s silver melt erased millions, and many surviving coins were polished to a lifeless shine. That's why unpolished fine-grade pieces with intact gray and black shading are now among the most sought-after Washington Quarters of the late silver era. They embody the precise Denver strike and the untouched dignity of natural silver patina, two features that collectors and investors chase relentlessly. And here's where admiration turns to astonishment. When authenticated and graded, examples of the 1959 with D Washington Quarter displaying flawless natural shadow toning have realized auction prices approaching $192,000 in today's elite numismatic market. Those are not wishful numbers, they are the documented highs reached when beauty, rarity, and condition converge. Every passing year narrows supply and widens desire. The 1959 with D now stands as one of the great sleepers of the silver quarter timeline, the coin that crept quietly from circulation into legend. If you ever encounter one, handle it like a relic. Hold it only by the edges, never clean, never rub. Check beneath Washington's neck for the clear, strong D Mintmark, Denver's proud signature. Look for even wear, full rim lettering, and that unmistakable gray to black tone. Store it in an inert holder away from humidity. Then, if it matches the profile of an untouched survivor, submit it to PCGS or NGC for certification. A professional grade not only confirms its identity, but can open the door to life-changing offers from serious collectors. The 1959 with D Washington quarter isn't loud, it isn't flashy, but it carries the quiet thunder of authenticity. It's the coin of twilight silver, the end of an era, shimmering beneath a veil of gray and black. Each one that remains tells the story of a mint that mastered perfection and a nation standing on the edge of transformation. But stay with me, because coin number 10 holds the finale every collector dreams about. A Washington quarter whose discovery rewrote the very definition of value in modern coinage. You're watching Rare Coin News USA, your daily source for the newest finds, certified prices, and the stories that make every collector's heart race. Subscribe, stay curious, and remember, the next coin you pick up might just be the next American treasure. Coin number 10, 1956, Washington quarter. No Mintmark, gray shade, fine. Condition: the silver echo of the 50s. 1956. Again, yes, the same year we touched earlier, but this time through a different lens. This is the gray-shaded Philadelphia Strike, a coin that looks as if it has been dusted with the mist of time itself. It's calm, elegant, and endlessly magnetic. The year stood at the midpoint of America's silver century. Rock and roll was rewriting music, highways were rewriting travel, and the mint was quietly crafting one of the most balanced, most beautiful Washington quarters ever made. The Philadelphia Mint had perfected its silver mixture, 90% silver, 10% copper, to give the quarter its unmistakable ring. The dies of 1956 were sharply engraved. Their relief captured every curve of Washington's portrait. These weren't just coins, they were small, shining portraits of national pride. What makes this particular year special is that its texture, more than any other, aged with grace. The microscopic polished lines on the die left the coin with a velvet soft glow that decades later transformed into that legendary gray shade collectors now chase. Under a bright light, a genuine 1956 No Mintmark quarter doesn't flash, it breathes. The silver has mellowed into a smoke-gray satin, smooth and even. Every worn detail tells of honest circulation. Every subtle tone shows untouched authenticity. This isn't a flaw, it's the fingerprint of history. The gray shade is proof that the coin has slept for nearly 70 years without interference, preserving its quiet dignity. Though millions were minted, few remain truly original. Melting, cleaning, polishing, time claimed almost all. But those that survived in fine, naturally toned condition now sit at the center of fierce bidding wars. Collectors value them not only for their beauty, but for what they represent, the last peaceful moment before silver coinage began to vanish from circulation forever. And here's the truth that makes even veteran collectors lean forward. Certified fine-grade examples of the 1956 gray shade No Mintmark quarter have reached around $151,000 in recent verified sales. Those prices reflect a simple fact. Original mid-century silver, preserved in its natural state, is disappearing. Every authentic survivor becomes more valuable each year, not fantasy, but a steady climb that continues as awareness spreads. If you ever find one, keep it safe. Look for no mint marks below the neck, even silver gray tone, clear lettering, and unpolished surfaces. Store it in an inert holder, and if you suspect quality, have it graded by a major service. The paper certificate may one day be worth almost as much as the coin itself. And that, treasure hunters, brings us to the end of today's countdown. 10 extraordinary Washington quarters that prove history isn't trapped in museums. It lives in the silver resting in your hands. The 1956 Gray Shade Quarter closes this chapter perfectly. A coin born of calm times, now shining brighter than ever in the storm of modern demand. But remember, the story of rare coins never ends. New finds appear, new legends surface, and tomorrow's discovery could change everything. So if you felt that rush tonight, the suspense, the thrill, the spark of possibility, then you're exactly where you belong. You're part of the Rare Coin News USA family, the fastest growing community of collectors and dreamers in America.